Stoicism teaches us that life is short, uncertain, and not entirely within our control. Every moment wasted in chaos, procrastination, or distraction is a moment lost forever. To put your life in order right now means to awaken from sleepwalking through life and take command of what belongs to you. Your choices, your thoughts, and your actions. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, constantly reminded themselves that today could be their last day. So why waste it living in disorder? If you look around at your life, you might notice clutter in your room, unfinished projects, unresolved conflicts, or neglected responsibilities. Each of these is a reflection of an inner disorder, a scattered mind unable to prioritize what truly matters. Order is not about rigid control of everything outside, but aligning yourself with reason and discipline inside. The first step to ordering your life is realizing that time is the most precious asset you possess, and every second misused cannot be regained. This awareness pushes you to live with urgency, clarity, and structure. When you decide to act now, without waiting for the perfect time, without waiting for tomorrow, you take back your power. Stoicism teaches us that order is not luxury, it is necessity, because a disordered life is a wasted life. Clarity is the foundation of order. A disorganized life usually reflects a disorganized mind, one that is clouded by unnecessary desires, external noise, and endless comparisons with others. The Stoics believed in simplifying life by focusing only on what is essential. Epictetus reminded his students that we suffer not because of events but because of our opinions about them. This means your cluttered mind, overwhelmed with anxieties about the future or regrets about the past, is what steals your peace and disrupts order. To restore clarity, begin by asking, what is within my control and what is not? Once you separate the two, you will notice how much energy you have been wasting trying to control the uncontrollable. Clear away distractions, endless scrolling, meaningless arguments, gossip, or the pursuit of things that do not matter. Replace them with purpose-driven actions that actually improve your life and strengthen your character. A clear mind naturally organizes the external world. When you know what matters, you automatically let go of what doesn't. The practice of journaling, meditation, and daily reflection, tools the Stoics used consistently, help sharpen this clarity. When the fog in your mind clears, you see your life as it is, not as a chaotic storm, but as something you have the power to structure and lead. A life without order is usually a life without routine. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. The Stoics practiced strict daily habits, not because they loved rigidity, but because they knew the human mind easily slips into laziness and distraction. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations about waking up each day with the responsibility of being human, to serve, to think, to act according to nature. Building discipline does not mean living a boring life. It means creating a structure where growth becomes natural. Start by setting routines for your mornings and evenings. A strong morning routine gives direction to your day before the world tries to pull you in every direction. An evening reflection allows you to evaluate your choices and correct mistakes before they become habits. When your days are ordered, your weeks align. When your weeks are ordered, your life transforms. Discipline does not chain you. It liberates you from chaos. If you know exactly what you must do each day, you no longer waste energy deciding whether to do it. You just do it. The Stoics believe that freedom comes not from doing whatever you want, but from ruling over yourself. Discipline is the key to that freedom. Most disorder in life comes from chasing too many desires. We want success, money, recognition, comfort, pleasures, relationships, freedom, and so much more, all at once. The Stoics warned that the person who cannot govern his desires is like a city without walls, open to attack from every direction. To put your life in order, you must identify what truly matters and let go of unnecessary wants. Seneca wrote that it is not the man who has little who is poor, but the man who craves more. Minimalism is not just about owning fewer possessions, but about desiring fewer things. Ask yourself, What am I pursuing that brings me stress instead of peace? What desires are leading me to disorder rather than fulfillment? The moment you trim away the excess, life becomes lighter, more manageable, and peaceful. Imagine your desires as wild horses. If you do not control them, they drag you in every direction until you collapse from exhaustion. But if you harness them with reason, they carry you toward your true purpose. Mastering desire is not about denying joy, but about ensuring that joy comes from virtue and inner strength, not from fragile external things. Order comes when your heart no longer runs after everything, but chooses wisely and intentionally. Disorder thrives when we live in denial, when we avoid truths about ourselves, our habits, and our responsibilities. Stoicism is brutally honest. It teaches us to see life exactly as it is, without sugarcoating. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself to expect rudeness, dishonesty, selfishness, and setbacks in daily life, so he would not be surprised or thrown off by them. To put your life in order, you must first face your reality, your weaknesses, your financial state, your health, your relationships, your habits. Many people avoid this because it is uncomfortable to admit how far they've strayed. But avoidance is the breeding ground of chaos. Courage means looking in the mirror and accepting what you see, then deciding to improve it. If your finances are in ruins, make a plan. If your health is declining, adopt discipline. If your relationships are broken, either heal them or let them go. You cannot create order on top of lies. The Stoic way is to confront reality with courage and rationality, to see both your limitations and your potential clearly. Once you stop running from truth, you gain control over it. Only then can you rebuild your life on solid ground, not illusions. Order is impossible without priorities. Most people live in disorder because they treat everything as equally important. They rush through life putting out small fires, answering every demand, chasing endless opportunities, and yet making little real progress. The Stoics remind us to ask, is this essential? Marcus Aurelius wrote, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. This simplicity creates clarity in action. To put your life in order, you must determine what matters most to you and cut out what doesn't align with it. If your health is a priority, your daily choices should reflect it, through diet, sleep, and exercise. If growth is a priority, reading and learning should dominate your free time instead of mindless entertainment. If peace of mind is a priority, you must avoid toxic environments and relationships, no matter how comfortable they feel. Prioritization means saying no to many good things in order to focus on the great things. Disorder comes when you say yes to everything. Order comes when your life is aligned with a few essential values that guide your decisions. The moment you start prioritizing, your days stop being chaotic, and your life starts gaining direction. Chaos in life often begins with chaos in the mind, and specifically in the emotions. Anger, fear, jealousy, and impatience all scatter your focus and drain your energy. The Stoics placed extraordinary emphasis on controlling the passions, not by suppressing them violently, but by training reason to govern them. Epictetus taught that people are not disturbed by events, but by the judgments they place upon them. If someone insults you, it is not the insult, but your interpretation that creates turmoil. By practicing emotional self-control, you immediately begin to restore order to your inner life, which then spreads to your outer life. How do you cultivate this? Pause before reacting. Train yourself to respond with reason, not impulse. Ask, is this within my control? Will this matter a year from now? Does reacting emotionally help or harm me? In doing so, you learn to master situations that once dominated you. Emotional stability is the foundation of ordered living because it prevents you from being tossed around by every external event. Once you achieve this inner calm, no storm outside can truly disorient you. Stoicism shows us that emotional self-mastery is not optional, it is the essence of living an ordered, rational, and free life. For the Stoics, order in life was not just about routines or productivity, but about living according to virtue. Virtue was the highest good. wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Without these, all external order is meaningless. A person may have a clean house, a well-planned schedule, and financial stability, but still live in moral disorder if he cheats, lies, or lacks integrity. Stoicism emphasizes that the only true order is that which is built upon character. Virtue ensures that your actions align with universal reason and justice, not just personal convenience. To put your life in order right now, you must ask yourself, am I acting with wisdom? Am I being just in my dealings? Am I exercising self-control? Am I showing courage where it is required? If the answer is no, then the disorder is internal, regardless of how perfect things look externally. True order is harmony between your principles and your actions. A virtuous person may live in poverty or face hardships, yet their life is deeply ordered because it flows from integrity. When virtue becomes your compass, decisions become easier, temptations lose power, and chaos disappears. In virtue lies the ultimate Stoic structure for a life of meaning and balance. External order reinforces internal order. A cluttered room, messy desk, or chaotic living space reflects and fuels a scattered mind. The Stoics valued simplicity, not for aesthetics, but because a simple environment makes it easier to focus on what truly matters. Seneca criticized people who filled their homes with luxury, but left their minds impoverished. To put your life in order, begin by simplifying your environment. Remove the unnecessary. Keep only what serves a purpose or brings genuine value. This practice extends beyond possessions. Simplify your digital life by removing apps that waste time. Simplify your commitments by withdrawing from obligations that drain your energy without aligning with your values. Imagine your life as a garden. If it is overgrown with weeds, no flowers can thrive. By removing clutter, you create space for growth. A simple environment is not empty. It is full of peace, focus, and potential. Each time you walk into a clean, orderly space, your mind feels calmer and more directed. The Stoics understood that while you may not control the world, you control the space you inhabit daily. That space either supports your growth or sabotages it. Simplify it, and you create conditions for lasting order. One of the most powerful Stoic tools for order is daily reflection. Marcus Aurelius used his meditations as a personal journal to examine his thoughts and actions, not to publish, but to remind himself of how to live rightly. Reflection allows you to review your day, recognize mistakes, and correct them before they harden into habits. Without reflection, life becomes a blur of repeated errors. To put your life in order, you must pause regularly and examine yourself with honesty. Ask, did I live according to my principles today? Did I let anger control me? Did I waste time on distractions? Did I act justly toward others? This practice does not require hours. Just a few minutes of thoughtful review can transform your awareness. Reflection sharpens your self-discipline and keeps your life aligned with virtue. It also cultivates humility, for you see not only your strengths but also your flaws. The Stoics never expected perfection, they sought progress. Reflection ensures that each day builds upon the last, moving you closer to the life you want. Without it, disorder grows unnoticed. With it, order strengthens daily. Reflection is the mirror that shows you where you stand and guides you toward where you must go. For the Stoics, wasting time was not simply a bad habit. It was a moral failure. Seneca wrote that it is not that we have little time, but that we waste much of it. Time is life itself, and once spent, it cannot be reclaimed. Disorder thrives in the absence of time management, where days slip away unnoticed in distractions and trivialities. To put your life in order, you must begin treating time as a sacred resource. This means knowing exactly how you spend your hours, scheduling your priorities, and eliminating time thieves such as procrastination, gossip, and pointless entertainment. Time management in Stoicism is not about cramming more into your day, but about aligning your hours with your values. If family is important, you make time for them. If wisdom is your pursuit, you dedicate time to study and reflection. Every wasted hour is a betrayal of your own potential. The Stoics remind us that death is always near, and this awareness should light a fire of urgency under every action. Living with this perspective transforms time management from a productivity hack into a philosophical practice. You do not manage time to be busier. You manage it to live intentionally, fully, and in accordance with virtue. Disorder often arises from blame. People point to circumstances, other people, or fate as the reason their lives are chaotic. Stoicism rejects this mindset entirely. Epictetus taught that while we cannot control events, we are always in control of our responses. To put your life in order, you must stop outsourcing responsibility. You must look at your life, your habits, your finances, your health, your relationships, and accept that they are the result of your choices, not someone else's. This is not about guilt but empowerment. The moment you take responsibility, you regain the ability to change. If you are unhealthy, blaming society or genetics keeps you weak, but taking responsibility leads to better choices. If your career is stagnant, blaming others traps you, but accepting responsibility drives you to improve. Responsibility brings order because it eliminates excuses. It places you in the driver's seat of your existence. Stoics did not deny external hardships. They endured them, but they never allowed excuses to dictate their lives. Once you embrace responsibility fully, you begin to see that life is not happening to you. It is responding to you. This shift is the foundation of a structured, purposeful life. Life will always present difficulties, and disorder often begins when adversity strikes and you are unprepared to handle it. Stoicism teaches us that adversity is not the enemy, but the training ground for strength. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that the obstacle is the way, that every difficulty contains an opportunity to grow. To put your life in order, you must change how you view hardship. Instead of seeing it as a reason to collapse, see it as a chance to build resilience. Every setback tests your patience, your courage, and your wisdom. Each challenge, if faced properly, strengthens your inner foundation. Imagine adversity as a storm. If your house is weakly built, it collapses. But if it is solid, the storm only proves its strength. Similarly, when your mind is disciplined, adversity only highlights your stability. Accept discomfort as part of life. Practice voluntary hardship, fasting, physical training, or limiting luxuries to prepare yourself for inevitable struggles. The stronger your inner fortress, the less external chaos can disturb you. Order is not the absence of challenges, but the ability to remain grounded within them. Adversity is not a threat to order, it is the forge that creates it. Many people live disordered lives because they swing between extremes, either working obsessively without rest, or indulging in rest without meaningful work. The Stoics believed in balance, guided by reason. Work is essential for fulfilling our duties, growing in virtue, and contributing to society. Rest is equally important for renewal and clarity. Disorder emerges when one is neglected. Overworking leads to burnout, which destroys both health and productivity. Excessive rest leads to laziness, which erodes character and potential. To put your life in order, you must create a rhythm between effort and recovery. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself not to waste time, but also acknowledged the need for sleep and restoration. A well-ordered life knows when to act and when to pause. This balance ensures sustainability. Without rest, your discipline becomes fragile. Without work, your rest becomes meaningless. By honoring both, you cultivate a life that is steady, productive, and harmonious. Like nature itself, which balances day and night, growth and decay, your life too must maintain this equilibrium. Only in balance can order flourish. Your life cannot be in true order if your relationships are filled with conflict, toxicity, or neglect. The Stoics emphasized that humans are social beings, meant to live in harmony with others. Justice, one of the Stoic virtues, requires treating others with fairness, kindness, and respect. At the same time, Stoicism warns against being enslaved by the opinions or behaviors of others. To put your life in order, you must evaluate your relationships. Are you surrounded by people who encourage virtue and growth, or by those who drag you into vice and chaos. Marcus Aurelius advised himself to expect difficult people, but not to let them corrupt his own character. Order in relationships means setting boundaries, choosing companions wisely, and fulfilling your duties toward family, friends, and society with integrity. It also means letting go of bitterness, grudges, and dependence on others for your happiness. When your relationships are aligned with reason and justice, they become a source of stability, not disorder. Social order begins with personal virtue. It radiates outward into the way you treat others. An ordered life nurtures healthy connections while remaining free from unhealthy attachments. Disorder often comes from discontent. The constant feeling that life should be different, that you do not yet have enough, or that happiness is always somewhere in the future. The Stoics taught the opposite. Gratitude brings order to the soul. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself to be thankful for the gift of life, for the sunrise, for the chance to live another day according to virtue. Seneca advised reflecting daily on the blessings already present rather than on what is missing. Gratitude shifts your perspective from scarcity to abundance. It allows you to focus on what is within your reach rather than on endless desires that lead to chaos. To put your life in order right now, begin by practicing gratitude daily. Write down what you are thankful for: your health, your loved ones, your opportunities, even the challenges that make you stronger. Gratitude quiets envy, impatience, and dissatisfaction, the very emotions that breed disorder. A grateful person lives in harmony with reality, accepting both gifts and hardships as part of life's natural flow. Gratitude is not passive. It actively reorganizes your inner world by teaching you that what you already have is enough. In this way, it restores balance and clarity to life. Much of life's disorder comes from blindly following the crowd. Society constantly pressures us with trends, opinions, and comparisons that push us away from our true values. Marcus Aurelius warned himself not to be distracted by what the masses do or think. To put your life in order, you must guard your mind against unnecessary external influence. This does not mean rejecting society altogether, but rather engaging with it wisely. Ask yourself, am I doing this because it aligns with my values, or simply because everyone else is doing it? If your life is built on imitation, it will always feel chaotic, because the world changes constantly. The Stoics advised focusing on reason, not popularity, on virtue, not approval. Social media today magnifies this challenge, flooding us with comparisons and false measures of success. To restore order, limit exposure to these influences. Spend more time cultivating wisdom, less time chasing validation. The more you align with your own principles, the less sway society has over you. Order means living by reasoned choice, not by blind conformity. True freedom, the Stoics remind us, comes when you no longer let the crowd dictate the course of your life. A disordered life is often filled with too many commitments, obligations, and distractions, all because of the inability to say no. The Stoics valued simplicity and intentionality. Every yes to something unimportant is a no to something essential. To put your life in order right now, you must master the art of refusal. This does not mean being harsh or selfish, but being guided by reason and priorities. If a request or activity does not serve your values or purpose, decline it politely but firmly. Epictetus warned against scattering your attention on trivialities. Your energy is limited, and wasting it on the unimportant leaves you empty for what truly matters. Saying no is an act of discipline, a declaration that your life has direction and boundaries. Without it, you become a slave to external demands, forever pulled into disorder. Each time you say no to distraction, you say yes to order. Each time you refuse chaos, you affirm clarity. The Stoics believed that strength lies not in pleasing everyone, but in living truthfully according to one's principles. Learning to say no is not rejection. It is protection of your highest self. One of the deepest Stoic teachings is that order in life comes from living in harmony with nature. This does not simply mean the natural world, though the Stoics admired its balance and simplicity, but also human nature, the rational and social essence within us. To live against nature is to live in disorder, chasing endless pleasures, ignoring duties, resisting the reality of life and death. To live with nature is to accept change, to fulfill responsibilities, and to act with reason. Marcus Aurelius wrote that just as the bee exists for the hive, so humans exist for community. Justice, cooperation, and wisdom are natural to us, while selfishness and greed bring disorder. To put your life in order, you must align with this truth. Accept the cycles of life, growth and decay, joy and pain, success and failure. Understand that death is natural, and fearing it only causes chaos. Order is not about bending reality to your will, but about flowing with the structure of the universe. When your life aligns with nature's law, there is no conflict between who you are and how you live. Harmony replaces chaos. Peace replaces disorder. Ultimately, Stoicism insists that order begins not tomorrow, not someday, but now. Marcus Aurelius rebuked himself in his writings. You could be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow? Disorder lingers because we delay action, waiting for the perfect time, perfect plan, or perfect motivation. But perfection never comes. The Stoic way is to begin now, with what you have, where you are. If your room is messy, clean it today. If your habits are weak, start one discipline now. If your relationships are broken, take the first step toward healing today. Action is the cure for chaos. The longer you wait, the more disorder hardens into your identity. Putting your life in order is not a one-time event, but a daily practice of clarity, discipline, and virtue. Each moment is an opportunity to begin anew. The Stoics believe that we are never powerless as long as we can act rightly in the present. Right now, you have the chance to live with reason, courage, and justice. Right now, you can begin building the life of order you desire. Do not wait. The only time you truly own is this moment.